Good afternoon guys, welcome back to the mid-handicap series. We're going to wing it and call it today, so thanks for Dave for coming back.
No problem at all.
So obviously last week we looked at Dave's short game, so we saw how we needed to improve his short game. We talked you through that, showed you the process of having a lesson. Hopefully, obviously we had some good comments and hopefully a few of those things helped you out. And again, obviously it's not going to fix everybody, but it's something that you can look at. Is it something that could help you? Dave, you said you've been chipping quite well.
Yeah, chipping pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, so he's had a couple of, he's had a week chipping, played 3 times.
Yeah.
So he's played 3 times. So what we're going to do is putting today. We're going to potentially look at a fitting, so I know he wants a fitting before we go on the course next. And then we're going to get back out on the course and see how obviously his short game lessons have helped improve his numbers with the help of Arcos. It is not a sponsored video, but it's just helps. The Arcos gives us a lot of information that we can relate to you, so you can start to see where Dave is saving shots, if he's saving shots, or if he's losing shots. Potentially he could have a bad round and he might lose some shots, it happens to us all, but the Arcos system gives us that feedback. Then we're going to look, I don't do much full swing work, I only work with a couple of people, but Dave is going to make it a third person. We're going to look at his driving potentially at some point, unless it's magically cured by the next time we're on the golf course.
Unlikely.
I'm not optimistic either. It's a bit like James Robinson's. Right, anyway, the weather's not great out there today, so we've come inside. So we're going to be looking at hitting some putts now around the putting green. We're going to give Dave different putts, different lengths, and start to see if he can hold those. We're also then going to put some breaking putts in. Whilst we're doing that, I'm going to fill him up, just like with the short game, and then we're going to look at what numbers we need to work at and why it's happening on the video. So we should be able to use the data, compare it to the videos, hopefully get him holding a few more. Dave, you said to me pace is a big thing.
Pace is a big thing, yeah. I've got some friends who disagree with you saying I'm a good putter man.
Yeah, we all have friends who disagree and say we're terrible at everything. How old's the putter?
Putter's 13 years old now.
13 years old, and he has just informed me that he's still got the sticker on, so he's obviously looked after it. So let's get into it. So first of all, we're going to start on the straight putts. We've got a straight 12-foot putt. Dave tells me he lines it up. He uses the Pro V sign on the side of his Pro V1s. He's also got his name on his golf ball, everyone. So not only is he a Leeds fan, he also likes to have his name on his golf balls, just in case they could be returned.
It was a Christmas present from the wife. I dare not use it.
Tell us anything. Right, so Dave, whenever you're ready, go through your normal process and we'll hit this putt.
Honestly, in the dream.
Oh, very good, so a good start, first one in. Right, next putt, we're going to go shorter. So we're going to go from the middle and we're going to go to the bottom right. So what I'm trying to do is give Dave different putts. So like if he was on a putting green out there, he wouldn't have the same straight putt. Also with the mat being square, it might be easier to line up. So we've got a different angle here. We've got now around about a 6-foot putt. So pretty quick this green it is, 10 or 11 on the stem. So that would have gone around about 2.5 feet past. So missed slightly to the left. So again, when we get Dave away from the lines of the mat, he struggled there. So let's see how he does on breaking putts. So we've got Dave on a breaking putt now, so I've raised the putting mat as you've just seen. So Dave doesn't know any kind of percentages, he's read this green as he would normally. So where have you got this, Dave?
About an inch outside left.
So he's got about an inch outside the left, so head away whenever you're ready, Dave. Okay, so broke probably more than you thought,
Just a
slightly.
bit, yeah.
Okay, so now we'll go from here in the middle of the mat and we'll go down to this bottom right. So another left to right to Dave.
Yeah.
So again, moved a little bit more than you thought.
It did.
Okay, so we've just got Dave's numbers there on Capto. So we've been doing the breaking putts, straight putts. You can see that he only held one, so he held one of the straight putts. He after that struggled a bit with green reading, which is again, you said pace and you said green reading sometimes. We know Arcos says Dave's a good putter, but obviously that might have been a good day, but on his average day he's saying that obviously sometimes he might misread and sometimes his pace goes a little bit. So we've got some numbers there. The first thing I want to do, we filmed him up there, is the ball performance. That's up here on the screen now, it's also on that screen, but it's up on the screen now. So we can see from face on, when Dave takes the putter back, it looks like it works a little bit outwards on the way back, which we will have a look at these very shortly, so the numbers aren't kept out, but the video shows it works out on the way back, has a bit of a loop, and then you can see that it clearly cuts across the ball and works to the left. So if we're looking at his path on his one of the putts, obviously that it's registered, it was out to in. So just like your golf swing, out to in, it's across, and that's where we can see the side spin. So when Dave hits left to right putts, he might miss them by quite a bit, which is what, funnily enough, we saw on this mid-range putt. He missed, it didn't even scare the hole. But again, if we're putting a bit of cut spin on there, we're glancing across the ball, that's then going to put spin, just like your driver, that's going to move it to the right. Again, on his right to lefts, he might struggle for pace, which is again what we saw on the mid-range putt, so the shortest putt we hit last. So again, we didn't see him get to the hole, it has a bit of a check and it gets stuck really. Same on the grass, same on the AstroTurf here inside. So the other angle we've got here, which I'm going to put up now, is obviously face on, which is trying to look if we've got backspin or topspin. So as we roll through the video, we can see that Dave actually hits up a little bit on the ball, and we can see that from that angle. We can see that obviously the ball launches very neutral, and then if anything starts to have topspin. So although he's cutting across, he's counteracting with him hitting up, so he's having a little bit of topspin. And I will look at that on his energy shortly. So we might see some backspin on some putts because he has a little bit of loft, but on the one we filmed it has topspin. But that could be a trait for David. Like he said to me earlier, he hits some 6 feet past, then he might leave some 4 feet short. So some might get topspin, some might get backspin. Other than that, it's a lottery. He's going to put the Euros on.
The Joes.
I don't know what actually the Euros is at. But, so let's have a quick look at the numbers now, and then we'll go through his motion. Okay, so we can see Dave's averages here from his strokes. You can see that on average, he's adding a little bit of loft when he comes into impact, which would mean we'd see a little bit of backspin. We can see on average his path is working very straight back and then a little bit to the left. So we want to obviously look at that. We can see that clearly on the video of the ball performance. We can see that action cutting across. As a result, he's hitting up on it nicely, but again we're losing energy. Because we're cutting across, we're getting a little bit of a toe strike, and also because of that, again we're having a little bit of backspin. He's added loft, so he's having some little bit of backspin. So on average, he's losing 10% of energy, so we can tell that that is why he's going to struggle with pace control. Some will see that he'll hit it too far, then he'll adjust and hit it too short. So let's have a look at his videos and let's have a look at what drills we're going to set him. Okay, so here's Dave's video. So obviously from face on, what we saw from his numbers is obviously he's adding a little bit of loft. So looking at this now, obviously we can see it set up, the shaft's angled a little bit back, which is already adding loft on there for Dave. So as a result, this was only a short putt, but we can see how he wants to move the putter away and drag the putter away. There's not much play in his wrists, which means he goes straight back. And then on the way through we can see how there's a little bit of arm connection. Very similar to his short game, how it loses a bit of connection and as a result drags that club left. So from here let's have a look at down the line. So down the line the arms are slightly off, so we're slightly not matching, so I'd like to see this matching up a little bit better. We can see they're working against each other. Also with the posture we've got a little bit of a rounded back here, which is encouraging his arms and body not to work together, encourages the putter straight, and then as a result comes across the ball, cuts across it, and we can see that cut spin on there. So we're going to have a look at now obviously what drills we're going to give to Dave to tidy up his setup, get him more consistent and get that ball rolling a lot better. Okay, so we've just gone through everything with Dave there. You've just seen his review of his setup and everything that we want to look at. So setup is the main thing there, so I want to get him working better, obviously with his arms matching the shaft. His eye line was a little bit inside the ball, so I'm trying to get him a little bit more over. So how are we going to do that? So how is Dave obviously going to practice when I'm not there to keep an eye on him? The main thing we're going to use today is going to be a mirror. So again, we've gone through this. If you watch obviously Tech Tuesdays, we've had some videos where I've talked through different training aids and what we want to look at. So we've got the small mirror here. So we're going to pop that down here now and hit some putts. So I'm going to really work on getting Dave's eye, left eye, just inside the ball, a little bit more over the ball, and then what we want to work on is a little bit better swing in the pull. So like I said, when Dave sets up, as he moves it away, he starts to drag the putt ahead, which keeps it pretty straight going back. So we're going to include a one-handed drill. So we're going to be taking care of a bit of emotion stuff, Dave. So obviously getting a little bit more swing in the putt ahead, and then also his setup and his arms. So we're going to obviously get him and the putter working as one, as opposed to in different planes fighting against it. So we'll get his Dave Harrison golf ball. He's not lost it.
I'm off to Scotland in a few weeks, there could be a few lost up there.
So I've set that up on a straight putt now. So when we practice, I don't always like you just to hit balls and balls and balls after on straight putts. But when we're making a little bit of a change to his technique for Dave, obviously we want to be on straight to get some feedback. So we're going to line the ball up. So I've got a couple here that I've already lined up. So I just made Dave get his ball just to say it's not a Dave Harrison ball. So what we're going to do is line it up and start to get some feedback. So if Dave can see that ball rolling end over end, he knows that the setup changes have helped him roll the ball better. And that's what we want to do. Dave can start to roll the ball better. We can get the ball started online. We can then help get a centred strike, which will control his pace. And then obviously from there we should start to hold more putts, but more importantly get rid of any 3 putts. So we don't want any of those 6-foot pass, 5 foot short. We want to be within a couple of feet, depending on how far we are away.
You haven't seen me from a couple of feet.
That's true. Right, so we'll line this one up now. Dave's going to check if it's straight. So then Dave will come in here now. So he's going to work on, we're going to get him gripping up slightly on the putter. A little bit more bend forward from the waist. Good, so we can now see that those arms are matching, and then from there, good. So a better roll, just made it, you know, for the fans. Just made it, the hin's in.
Perfect.
There we go. Okay, so there Dave had 2 hands on the club. So now we're going to go into the second part of his drill, where he's now going to take his left hand off. He's going to hold his left arm, use his left hand to hold his right arm on, and then from there, have a little bit of play in the wrist, let that swing, and we can see now that's getting a nice arc. Okay guys, so we've just gone through there with Dave. You can see from that putt there, you can see how his posture's changed. So obviously next week I'm going to give him a week to practice. Next week when he comes for his fitting, that he doesn't need but wants. That's the famous words.
13 years old, needs retiring.
Needs retiring, must have worn out. So what we're going to do is I'll show you next week the before and afters of Dave's actual motion, but you can see straight away there how his posture is now a lot more athletic, which now allows him to get that putter working a little bit inside. Again, the one-handed drill allows him to obviously release the putter a little bit better, let it have a swing, and we saw the roll on the putt that I'll put on now. You can see it rolls a lot more purer end over end. If we can do that, we can hold more putts. So as always, I'd like to say a big thanks to Dave.
No, thank you.
Thank you very much, and I'd like to again get you to ask any questions. Again, if you've got any for Dave about how his session was, or if you've got any that Dave struggles with, or you can ask about Leeds, how they've signed nobody yet, but Arsenal are on the way up. Right, but other than that guys, any questions, ask below. Next week, like I say, we're going to go through a little bit of a putter fitting, and then we're going to get back out on the course, and we'll see if Dave's drive is behaving, or we're going to have to look at Dave's driving. Guys, well, we might as well just look at it anyway, aren't we? So guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. We'll see you next Friday, and I'll see you again on Monday.